Founded in 1979, the SPCA Florida is dedicated to improving the lives of pets and people in the community. Now, SPCA Florida is providing caring compassion and hope to more than 6,000 homeless cats and dogs entering their doors each year. A program that helps more than 1,200 animals last year alone could use your help. All the details are coming up on Polk Place. Make sure you stick around. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and about this time in the show, I'd be introducing you to the guests, but this is Shelly, and she is a special needs puppy, and we're going to learn about all the care that you could possibly be giving an animal like this. And I want to take the time and introduce some first-time guests to Polk Place and a veteran to Polk Place. Joining us in studio is Emily Hill. Emily is Administrative and Marketing Assistant for SPCA Florida, and she's also a foster parent.
I sure am. Yeah. Proud foster parent.
Okay. Also joining us in studio is Priscilla Flores. Priscilla is a foster care coordinator for SPCA Florida. How you doing, Priscilla?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you've got a little special guest over there.
I do.
Who is that?
This is Body. She's a 2-month kitten. She came in to us because she had a bot fly in her neck, and it was retrieved, and she was taken care of and spayed, and she's ready for adoption now.
All right. And last but not least, another first-timer, Dr. Christy Sang. She's the veterinarian for SPCA Florida. Welcome to the show.
And thanks for having us today.
So, rule number 1 has been accomplished here on Polk Place. You never come to Polk Place without bringing animals. Mm-hmm. Adam did that 2 shows ago, and as a staff, we collectively banned him because having animals for us is like therapy day. Things get crazy around here, and you guys saw it. As soon as you brought in pets, everybody was fighting over them. So we want to talk a little bit about the foster program. And in the opening, we heard that 1,200 animals went through your foster program last year. What exactly is the foster program?
It's a program that we have for kittens, nursing moms, just strays that are not available for adoption yet, medical. And even some pets that just need to get out for a little while that have been in the shelter for a long time. So we do rely a lot on our community for that. That can give us like open space, so that way we can have, because they get more hands-on when they're out than when they're in the shelter.
Now, Emily, you are a foster parent of sorts, for lack of, I like foster parent because they become part of your family, whether it's for a short or long time. Tell me some of the things that go into being a foster care provider for, say, we'll break it up into cats and dogs.
Okay, well, for both cats and dogs, of course, there's time involved. Just giving them that extra love and attention. If it's a medical foster, maybe they need medication. Cleaning up their paper and potty pads, making sure that they have fresh linens and beds. Also, time bringing them to the shelter so Dr. Sane can examine them. And then also just that TLC and, giving them that interaction, and that helps set them up, for their forever home, whether they've interacted with other puppies or kittens, and also just have the socialization from the human standpoint.
Now, Dr. Sang, what are some of the reasons that an animal from a medical standpoint might need a foster home?
So sometimes we have puppies and kittens that are neonatals, they're babies, and Shelly's actually an example of one of them. Emily was having to bottle feed her. She wasn't able to eat on her own or go to the bathroom on her own, so Emily was actually having to help her do that. So sometimes they're just too tiny, they're too small to even be eating on their own, so those guys will go into foster care. until they're eating on their own and they're big enough to go through our spay-neuter program before adoption. Sometimes we have ones that, we have a guy in foster right now that has a wound on his foot and he's requiring constant bandage changes, and his foster is taking care of him in a house right now, bringing him in for those bandage changes until he can be made available for adoption once that wound is completely healed. And like Priscilla mentioned too, sometimes we have guys that they just aren't doing well in the shelter, that they need time in an actual house and a home with people, interacting with people, kind of a set routine, I guess, if you will. And they tend to do a lot better in a home setting, and then we can find homes for them, outside of the shelter that way. So.
Now, also, Shelley's a little bit of a special needs. What's going on with her?
So Shelley was born with a couple of congenital abnormalities. As she's been growing, we've kind of been monitoring how she's been walking. But if you look at her, like, front toes are kind of splayed outwards and they're kind of tilted, and her back legs are kind of folding in on themselves. And as she's been growing, she's been learning how to walk with the abnormalities that she's got in her legs. And then when she does eventually go through her spay, we will be taking radiographs of her while she's sedated, so that way we can kind of see exactly what's going on. And then from there, just finding a home that understands her special needs in that sense, and can adopt her from there. So.
Now, Priscilla, when people sign up, say, for the first time to be a foster care provider, you've got these special needs animals, and then you've got, say, the ones that have been there for a while. How is it determined which one you get? Maybe you're a little bit nervous about taking a special needs. How does that work out if you were to volunteer?
I try to work with the customers or the foster parents, and I try to explain to them what they feel comfortable with. If they feel comfortable with just doing like bottle babies or special needs, some are not home enough to be doing bottle babies, so they can do like litters. Some love doing special needs. So I kind of just talk with the people and see what they like and what they're comfortable with, instead of just being like, here, take this or just take that. So I kind of just go with who I think would do better. Like I say, some people are okay with doing, special needs, some are not. Some are okay with doing puppies, some are okay with doing nursing. So it just depends on the person itself. Once you talk to them and you get to know them, then you can see what they would prefer to do.
So, Emily, I know I'm going to have a hard time giving up this dog at the end of this interview. As a foster care provider, foster parent, how do you, you spend so much time with them, and like this one, you got her at a young age, and you're bottle feeding her, and then you got to give them up. And that's kind of hard.
Yeah, definitely. I think Shelley will be a special case because, look at this love. She was my first bottle baby, so I've had her the longest out of all my fosters. And thankfully, my husband always gives me a reminder that, if we keep all of our fosters, we won't be able to foster anymore. But ultimately, my end goal and kind of vision is to see them walk away from the adoption center with their forever family. So that kind of helps. But there's always that, tug at the heartstrings. I miss them. But I've been very fortunate with some of the pups that I fostered, kind of staying in contact with their adoptive family, and they send updates, and that definitely helps get through it. But knowing that I'm able to help provide a temporary home and love for them, so that they can get an adopted family, it helps, but it's always hard. There's never, it's never easy. So
the hardest thing about sitting in this chair is you always want to make eye contact with people and make sure that you let them know that you're listening.
Right.
But when you've got a puppy down here, you do not realize.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but over here, there's some special. Yes. Dr. Sang, now we were talking a little bit ago, and as a veterinarian, you provide care to these animals, but you've also been you call it a failure, but I call it a success story as a provider. Tell us a little bit about your success/failure stories as a foster care provider.
Yeah. So I've been fostering for quite a while now, even before I was at the SPCA. When I came to the SPCA, I actually have what's called a foster failure, where I ended up adopting him. His name is Ralphie. Afterwards, he came into the medical center. Their owner's complaint was that he couldn't jump up, and we ended up doing X-rays on him and found out he had some trauma. We don't know what had happened, but he had fractures in both of his legs, and that's actually why he couldn't jump up. But otherwise, he was able to play and everything like that. And I was like, okay, we'll do surgery on him. Got him feeling better. Took him home for that. He was one of those special needs fosters after surgery, making sure we rehabilitated him properly. And we got to the point where I was supposed to bring him back, and I was like, I really like him, and he's getting really along well with my other two cats at home. And
it was a classic school case of homework was due, and you were like,
didn't want to bring him
I
back.
left him at home.
So I ended up paying the adoption fee instead of bringing him back. So he's with me now. So and all my kitties get along really well, and that was part of it. Is he got along really well with our other cats at home. So he just fit in perfect with our family. So I ended up keeping him.
And that's happened twice with you?
That's happened twice with me, yes. My other one is, that was from back when I worked in Altamont Springs as a kennel technician. And he was another little orange kitten, little tabby cat. They definitely, I love those guys, but ended up keeping him too, so.
So once the animals have gone through and they've completed all their medical, you just kind of sign off on it and they're ready to go? How does that work?
So as long as they typically get an examination before they go out to foster to make sure that they don't need anything. And then as long as they're doing well in the foster program at their foster's house, we'll just see them back for, their vaccines to keep them up to date with that. And then I will see them once more before they actually go on the adoption floor, before they go through surgery. If they need to be spayed and neutered, or again, if they're just coming back and they're ready to go on the floor, and I'll see them again just to make sure everything looks good before they are up for adoption.
Now, Priscilla, one of the things that's probably, I know.
It was like a happy on. Yeah.
Exactly. As my producer Mark likes to say, look, shiny object, squirrel, squirrel. I just lost all interest in this show. But anyways, Priscilla, how do you go about becoming a foster care provider, and run us through the steps that it would take to make a difference in these animals' lives?
Well, we require that you be 18 and over, reliable transportation just in case of any kind of emergency, that something could happen while they're in your house, you'd be able to get them to the shelter. A lot of love, a lot of care. We do provide food, litter, equipment, like if you need litter boxes or anything, and the medical part we also provide. So pretty much basically they just need somewhere to crash until they're old enough. Lots of attention and lots of love, especially being inside of the foster home, they get that. So it's much easier for them to, be adopted out once they come back to the shelter. So,
Emily, I'm going to give you the last word on this, since you live in, we heard the doc's experience as far as a provider, but I want you to inspire the folks at home to become a foster care provider to a loving little animal such as the puppy here, or the kitten. Yeah, Shelly is a lover.
Yeah. Well, know that it's not a forever commitment, of course, and try it out. And Priscilla has been amazing. I remember my first foster, I was really nervous, am I going to do a good job? And it's very rare that I don't have a foster, so even if you're thinking of trying it, do it, let her know, maybe give me 2 weeks, what can I, give some extra love and attention to, and you will definitely get hooked. And you're helping save the lives of so many animals, so who wouldn't want to hang out with this one?
Yeah, I think you just sealed the deal there. We got to stop that. Well, ladies, thank you very much for coming on, and much continued success to your foster care program, and to providing forever homes like to Shelly, and to our kitten also, Body. But thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And it's very simple. You could give love and care to an animal like this. SPCA Florida is always in need of foster caregivers. Foster families provide animals a temporary spot in their home where they can feel loved and safe to help them thrive and become adoptable. Anyone over 18 years of age can foster, as long as you can provide care, shelter, and love. you can be an animal foster parent. Fostering is ideal for people who are unable to commit to an animal of their own due to extended travel or current living arrangement. SPCA Florida provides all training, supplies, and medical care, and then all the medical care that the animal may need, the foster caregiver will be given any necessary supplies to care for the animal during their stay. All the foster would need to do is supply the transportation, love, and care. For more information on the foster care program, you can give them a call at 863-577-4638 or look them up on the web at spcaflorida.org/foster-program.
Your food is like, why is it so tight in here?
Yeah. Nervous guts. Nervous guts. It's not that loud when
Like you need to hold the cat. Oh, blame it on the kitty.
blame it on the cat, yeah.
Give her one more taste,
Nervous
and then
guts.
I go.
You can't even tell she had anything there anymore.
She looked really good.
That's
Just a few
money
days
right
after.
there.
Money.
That's money in the
It's your
bank.
house. Oh, we love it.